Hi, Carl Kruger here from Qualitation, talking about ISO 14001, the environmental standard. Think of an organization as though it was a gardener preparing to plant a thriving garden. Before you begin, you need to understand the environment, the soil quality, the climate, the nearby plants, so that when you create that garden, it fits within that surround. Clause 4 ensures that an organization understands its internal and external environmental context, enabling it to manage the environmental management system effectively. So subsection 4.1, understand the organization and its context. So just like assessing the weather and soil for a garden, the organization must evaluate external and internal environmental factors. So regulations, pollution risks, resource availability, susceptibilities to in the local environment, and so forth. A consultant's approach will be to conduct an environmental SWOT analysis, so that's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, identifying environmental trends, legal requirements, and challenges. The workshops and interviews with key stakeholders can also help identify factors impacting on environmental goals for the local site or area. Section 4.2, understanding the needs and expectations of interested parties. So imagine you were creating a garden for a community. You need to know what they expect. Do they want flowers? Do they want fruit? Do they want shade? Should it attract insects or birds? Should it be suitable for pets and dogs to use? Similarly, an organization must identify the stakeholders such as regulators, local communities, customers, banks, shareholders, anyone who is involved, and of course the staff, and address their environmental expectations within the approach that the organization adopts. A consultant will do this by guiding the organization through a stakeholder analysis, identifying the expectations through surveys, interviews, or consultations. This ensures compliance with stakeholder requirements and alignment with organization goals. Thus, what the stakeholders want is given by the way that the organization operates while still meeting the organization's ultimate aims. Section 4.3, determining the scope of the environmental management system. Before planting, you define a garden's boundaries and what plants to include. Similarly, an organization must define the boundaries and scope of its environmental management system to address the relevant processes and environmental impacts. So by boundaries, we're talking about whether you want the standard or the system to focus on that particular site and everything on it, or that particular company and everything within it, which could be considerably wider, or you could narrow it down if it's an international company and simply look at one country at a time. The scope relates to what goes on that one site. It might be that the organization wants to separate out different activities, include one in this particular standard and not another activity. The consultant will help the organization to define the environmental management system scope by mapping out environmental processes, identifying the affected areas both within the site and in the surrounding area, and ensuring alignment with the ISO 14001 requirements. Subsection 4.4 is the environmental management system and the processes. It's like planning how to water, how to fertilize, and how to protect your garden. The organization must identify processes, their interactions, and the controls needed to achieve environmental objectives. So if the organization needs to chop up a particular material, then heat it, and then pour it out into a mold, it has to be done in such a way that it is meeting environmental concerns on and off-site during that process. So the process of chopping needs to ensure that spillage doesn't take place and therefore you get waste or discharge inappropriately. Heating, is it going to be carbon efficient? Are you reusing the heat where you can? And so forth. And so it goes on. Each process therefore relates to both part of the activity going on and the way in which that activity is carried out from an environmental viewpoint, meeting the ISO 14001 requirements. The consultant will help document the environmental processes, they will map the interactions and identify controls needed for sustainability to ensure all processes contribute to the overall environmental management system goals. So that was Clause 4. I look forward to seeing you in Clause 5. Carl Kruger of Qualitation, signing off.